If you've been to any of these, we always like to start off with some big wins. So if you got a big win for the morning, be it personal, be it professional, throw it down in the chat window real quick. Would love to see how everybody's doing out there, get to celebrate alongside you real quick. So don't be shy. We can get excited and cheer each other on from whatever corner of the globe we're from. If I haven't met you yet, I want to welcome you to, we do these BOP Masterclasses about once or twice a month. And the whole goal is to equip business owners, liberate them from chaos, right? And so what we've done is kind of gotten feedback from you, from some of our other business owners to just go, hey, what's a topic that we could dive in on that would be helpful to you to kick around for 30, 40 minutes to hear from some other business owners and leave with something that you can use. And so not sitting here going, all right, we just get lectured at, but really being able to go, all right, we leave with something that we can implement. And so today I get excited because we are going to talk about crafting your blueprint. So often we hear with marketing, like, I don't know where to start. I don't know how to get momentum. I'm spending money left and right, and I just don't know what I'm getting back from it. So we are going to kick around this thought of how do you craft your blueprint. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. I'm going to ask that you answer in the chat window. This is going to be a little bit of a back and forth here. And so my first question for you today, how many places are you currently marketing your business? How many places, like if you were to sit here and think about, all right, all the places, do you have social media, you have website, you're doing referrals, maybe you've got a great program where you're doing radio ads, print marketing, I don't know. Throw that in the chat window. I want to see what the average is between everybody that's in here if you were to add up all the places that you market your business. Go ahead and throw it in there. All right, we got 5, okay? What else do we have? How many places do you market your business? Doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to, if it's 7 and you write 6, you're not going to get dinged for that. Does anybody not know where the chat is? It's at the bottom. Click, there's a little button that says chat. You can type it in right there. All right, Jim Ripper, 3. We got, I believe it's Arena. I apologize if I butchered that. 4, love that. Anybody else? 6, Vince, well done. Love to see that. Where else? Okay, I'm going to keep moving. So we're talking between 4 and 6, maybe 7 right now, if we're thinking about the channels. So I would be curious to take that a step further. How many of those are actually bringing you paying jobs? And I don't just mean we think we get business from those. How many of those streams would you look and go, all right, in the last 90 days, I can directly point to one of those channels as having brought us business? What would that number be for you guys and girls? We got a 1. We got a 3. We got a 2. Okay, so in some ways, y'all are illustrating my point here of going, we're throwing all this money out. We're scattering all this money out. We don't really understand where the impact of that money is going and what the ROI on that is. Most contractors, most business owners, whatever niche you're in, they're spreading their time, their money, and their energy across 6 to 8 channels, but 80% of their business is coming from 2, maybe 1, or as many as 3. Today, we're going to fix that. So I want to identify the problem a little bit. And it's that most business owners market like they're throwing darts in the dark. They post on every platform, but they lack a plan for what or when to post. Maybe they run ads that they can't track. They don't know which one brought them a lead. They just go, all right, well, if we market enough places, maybe business will improve. We'll get more that comes in. They show up everywhere and they get momentum nowhere. They have a plan, just activity, right? We're just busy. I'm not going to make you raise your hand, but I would imagine that probably sounds familiar to a lot of you guys. Busyness, busyness, busyness. You see, the cost of that is wasted money, it's wasted time, and it's a business that feels like it grows by accident versus intentionality. And so why now? Well, what we are realizing is that the business owners who win the next 90 days are the ones who get intentional today. We got to start thinking about marketing like gardening. Anybody a gardener on here? Anybody want to raise, anybody love just growing things? Maybe not. Great. I'm going to give you some thoughts on this. So think about it. If we want fruit today, when do we need to plant? Probably 90, maybe 180 days ago. But with our marketing plans, what do we expect? We expect same-day results. Amazon's taught us with a click of a button, you can get exactly what you want by the end of the day. That's not how marketing works. If you were to start a garden, what would you do? You would want to maximize your efforts, so you'd carefully pick the right spot for the garden with the right amount of sunshine. You'd research to see what kind of soil to use and what fertilizer it uses. And you'd realize that for different plants, you actually need different types of fertilizer. Then once you plant, what would you do? You would tend it. You would look at it. You wouldn't just wait to see what happens. No, you'd pull weeds, you'd water, you'd treat for fungus and bugs, all of that to maximize the fruit of your labor. Friends, marketing really is not that different. We can't just spend money and expect results. We have to cultivate it and we have to tend it like every other area of our business. So what I'm going to do real quick, let me make sure that this made its way into the chat window before. Hopefully, if you signed up for this prior to today, you were emailed this in the chat window this morning. So this is what we call our marketing playbook. I love this thing because I actually helped build it in 2020. That's when I started with BOP. I didn't know what else to do, so I just started building stuff. And what I was realizing with the small business owners that I was working with was that they were doing exactly what I'm saying. They were spending all this time, spending all this energy, and they needed a direct focus for marketing. So what I'm going to show you real quick is, hopefully everybody can see this right now. If you click on that Zoom link that I just put in the chat window, you can open this up. Now, if you have not already made your own copy, what I'm going to ask you to do is click on this file button, click File, make a copy, and then you just save it in whatever Google Drive folder you want to. If you hate Google like a handful of my clients do, another thing you can do is come up here to, let's see, this File button, and you can download it as an Excel spreadsheet. If you're a Microsoft person, I don't know, maybe you like terrorism at the end of the day, but we like Google over here. But yeah, download it in an Excel spreadsheet. It's no big deal. And this will work. All the formulas, everything will work. It'll open up great for you on that side of things. So before I keep moving on this, I need to know, does anybody need time? Because we are going to be building this out together today. Again, that was part of my promise, is you're going to leave with something that you can actually use over the next 90 days. Anybody need me to pause? Raise your hand, throw it in here, or I can keep moving. Going once, going twice. Awesome. Sold. Let's keep moving on a few things here. All right, let me pull this back up. So one of the things you'll notice on this sheet is it kind of has a start here column. This is your blueprint. We're going to fill this out and start with who we are actually targeting. I wonder fairly often is like, when was the last time you asked yourselves questions about who are the people that are coming to your business? Whether it's product and you're selling widgets to people, whether you're building homes, Vince and Asceni's building manufacturing jewelry, or whether it's service-based and you're actually coming alongside and cleaning homes or cleaning commercial spaces, whatever that ends up being. So I don't know how often you have asked these questions about who the people are. But once we can figure out who we're targeting, then we can move over to the channels and the assets that we have. Many of you said, hey, we're doing it in 4, 5, 6, 7 different places. Okay, let's outline what those are and let's think through that a little bit. Then this last little portion here, what are things that you're going to commit to for each channel? It's taking all of that down, and rather than the shotgun approach, it's going, all right, let's get really, really specific. And let's pick one thing to commit to and then start to script it out and schedule it out. So that's what we're going to do here. Let's get moving on some of this. Let's start with the targeting piece. Just so you know, you can start writing notes on this thing, typing it in. If you want to print it out and write all over it, I don't care. Do whatever it is. It's your tool now to use. The goal of this is to go, let's get a really good idea of what our plan is, and then I'll show you the next steps from there. So before you market anything, you have to know who you're talking to. So let's walk through this. Who is your ideal client? Some people call it your customer avatar. It's great. We got to picture them. Like if they're walking through the door to my business, what do they look like? How do they walk? How do they carry themselves? So some of the questions we're going to ask is, who are they? What's their home life like? What's their work life like? What's their financial status, right? Do they make $100,000 a year? Do they make 500, a million, 2 million, whatever that ends up being? Let's get uber clear on this. What are their interests? What do they do for fun? What do they do leisure-wise? Who is influencing them? Where do they congregate? That's a great thought to have, to know, all right, if I'm trying to get in front of them, where are they spending their free time? What magazines are coming to their house? What's their biggest headaches? What are maybe their biggest frustrations, or what pain points have they had in the past as they've dealt with someone else who does what you do? Everybody's got experience and they're hearing things from the people that are influencing them. And then what will that result make them feel? Like what will get them excited to use your service or your product? So I'm going to give you 3, 4, 5 minutes, something like that. When I start to notice everybody's head kind of sticking up, I'm going to have some music playing in the background. Feel free to throw some questions in the chat window, but what I'm going to ask is you stay head down. This is not time to open your email up, start answering texts, do all that. Stay with me here, and I promise we will leave this with an incredible plan for the next little bit. So I am not seeing any questions right now in the chat window, so I'm going to let you roll on this. Identify who your average client is, who your main client, who you're targeting is, and we'll get rolling on that. Go for it. All right. As you're continuing to work, I just want to get some feedback from you. So I would love to know from a couple of you, what was maybe surprising as walking through this of like, man, I had not thought that here's where my clients or potential customers are congregating. Or as you're thinking through their headaches, what popped up that you had not thought through before? Anybody feel brave enough to come off Zoom or off mute and say something out loud real quick? I'll call on some names, so don't worry.
I'll start.
Awesome.
So I own a oil change franchise. So my customers are car owners. We'll take anybody. I don't care make, model, year, condition, whatever. So I'm looking through this: home life, work life. I don't think it really matters. Financial status, not poor. Able to afford an oil change. Influencers, leisure. I think I didn't know how to answer those for my customers. So the biggest objections is dealer pricing and the wait time for getting the oil changed.
Sure.
And then how will the result make them feel peace of mind that they got their oil changed quickly and professionally, and so that their oil doesn't leak as they're driving off the lot.
Sure.
And probably their biggest headache is being ripped off.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, Jim, thank you. Anybody else who had kind of an epiphany on writing some of this out? Anybody have the epiphany of we are not actually solving the problem that our ideal client needs us to solve? I've gone through this with clients before and they've gone, all right, if that's who's coming to me and this is what we're doing, there's a misalignment of who we are and what they need. There's a little bit of an epiphany there.
I wrote down the greatest.
Go ahead, Sean. Sorry.
Greatest headache for contractors is things breaking. And I was thinking, how do I help contractors with things that aren't breaking all the time?
Ooh,
People,
that's good.
processes. Yeah.
Love that. Absolutely. All right. I'm going to keep going. All right. As we look at this kind of next section, let me pull that back up so you guys can see it again. So as we start looking at the marketing channels and the assets, as we start thinking through all of this, right? So as we're looking at our channels and our assets, most of us want to start with social media. But if you have 20 followers, that may not be the best place to start, right? Like you might need to dig into one of these other columns. If you have a few followers, there still needs to be a strategy. It just doesn't need to be your whole strategy. What we always say is that social media needs to be the air support to your ground game, right? Like it's not everything, but it has to be something. So what I would love to see from you guys is we start writing some of these down, give you 5 minutes, start thinking through, all right, are you doing Facebook posts? Are your clients not really on Facebook? And you need to get on, Sean spends about 6 hours a day on TikTok. So that's where he finds his. I'm just kidding. Is it Instagram? Are you looking to go? No, there's new places. You can now advertise on ChatGPT or whatever, but where are your clients going when it comes to that? Print. I mentioned this a little bit ago. What magazines do they get? Are they still reading the newspaper? And we need to just put something in the newspaper. Are your ideal clients parents of teenagers and you need to advertise at the local sports field? Because that's where they are 4 days a week and it could be walking by your signage and get an idea of who you are. Maybe they're watching the evening news and you need to find a way to advertise on the evening news because that's what they're doing. Thinking through, all right, if we just define what influences the people that I want coming to me, we need to start thinking, all right, what are the vehicles that actually get in front of those people? And so I'd love to give you some time to think through that. Let me define these real quick for you because some of these are just a little bit different. And so obviously social media, we just talked about that one. Print, that one's pretty standard. Website, hopefully you guys have a website and hopefully it's something that, people come to affirm what their opinion is about you. You can spend thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars in Google ads to get people to your website, but it has to affirm what they have been told about you or what they believe about you. And so when you start auditing your own website, does it do that? Is the last time that you've updated it 3 years ago and somebody comes in, they go, are they still doing work? Maybe, maybe not. If you think about live stages, are there live events that your people are going to? Are there stages where they are consuming what you have to offer and that you can actually talk to them about and you can get in front of them? That's a big place for us. We go to build expos because we work with a lot of contractors. And so they want to absorb what we have, and we can get in front of them there because there's 200 of them coming to a keynote talk. Are there virtual stages that you have? And you go, we don't have a podcast. We don't do webinars like you guys do. Okay. Well, are there webinars out there that you could volunteer to go speak on? For a while, that was part of ours is, all right, what are builders or what are business owners listening to, and how do we get in front of them? Maybe it's just going and being on an interview with somebody. That is an easy thing to do that can get you exposure there. Other things for us, we've got books. I don't know if there are places where you are leaving your cards, if there are other ways that you are promoting yourself via, I don't know, maybe you've got a farmer's market that you get in front of people and can advertise at. But what are the other areas that you can get in front of people and really find ways to get creative with it and build a plan around it? So I'm going to let you guys type that in for a few minutes. And then over here, this last column on the right, what assets do you guys have? And what I mean when I say assets are something that you could hand someone or show someone that was proprietary to your business. You think about a one-pager that outlines everything you do. Do you have YouTube videos where you've been on the local news channel and somebody's highlighted everything that you've done there? Do you have, I don't know, testimonials from people? What are the marketing assets that you can actually pull out of the vault and start putting into practice? Here would be the other thing I would just add on here. If you don't have it, but you want it, great, list it. Maybe star it so you know, all right, this isn't something that we have, but something that we would like to move towards having. Because when we put this 90-day plan together here in a few minutes, it may be something that you actually put some resources towards that would help you fill out some of these channels. So I'm going to go ahead and play a little more music, take 5 more minutes, and we'll start rolling on some of these. All right. Hopefully you guys had enough time. All right, somebody come off mute real quick and give me one of your marketing channels that you're really excited about and maybe why you're excited about that channel. Come on, somebody. You got it. Jamie, I know you. Come off mute. Tell us one of your channels you're excited about. I'll put you on the spot here.
I love being put on the spot. I'm starting to kind of reshape the way we do Instagram. So that's something I'm very excited about. And everything that we share on Instagram goes to Facebook because we don't have a lot of cross on that.
Sure.
So
Cool. Yeah, Coastal Shores, a landscaping company, kind of coastal South Carolina. And yeah, finding out how do we show off what we do in a way that's really cool and that people can go and see it and be like, all right, yeah, they do exactly what they say they do. Who else? Who else has a channel that they're excited about, maybe auditing a little bit and figuring out where to pour more resources?
I guess I'll find out. I just signed a contract to audio stream a commercial spot to YouTube and Spotify and all those type of media channels. I think it starts next week. So
Awesome.
Decided to see if it was worth the money.
Absolutely. I love it. Okay. Anybody else got one they're excited about?
Hey, Thomas. So, as you know, we're more business to business, and we've been having some good success actually with some direct mail.
Oh,
So,
great.
okay. So that's been a effective channel for us, and maybe because there's less direct mail going out to stores today.
Mm-hmm. Great idea. Love that, Vince. Great. All right. So here's where I want to kind of start landing the plane a little bit here. So if you look down at the very bottom, you've got the one thing I commit to. I think it's really easy to get stuck and try to do everything all at once and start going, I gotta do more of this and we got to advertise more here. And it's like, I actually don't want you to do that. What I would like you to do is start by coming and going, what is the area that we are most successful in our marketing? Where's 80% of our business, or where do we have the most momentum? I don't know where it is for you, but I do know if we can't answer that before we do any of this other stuff and spend all this money, we need to find a way to track what is coming in from the marketing dollars that we're spending. Let me give you a couple ideas of what that might look like. I was working with somebody recently, and what they started doing is putting a different landing page or a different phone number, whatever, QR code, whatever, for each of their different marketing places. So they did a print marketing ad in a magazine, whatever, Garden and Gun magazine. And they knew when that QR code was scanned from there, that was a direct lead from that source. Brilliant, right? So they immediately can attribute it to that. Then when they do their marketing meeting at the end of the month, they can go back through all of their lead sources, any business that they've gotten that they can't directly attribute to it. They would either ask the client, hey, how'd you hear about us? Or they would look and be like, I'm pretty sure it came from this, pretty sure it came from this. And so beginning to track that is the first way to know, all right, am I spending my marketing dollars efficiently, or am I just hoping and praying and just accidentally growing this thing? Maybe you've got a different phone number and you go, all right, I put this phone number on our website. And if it comes in through that phone number, it's a website lead. Maybe on your social media, you have a different way that it brings something in. I don't know what it is. Maybe you've got a learn about us form and whatever. You've got to find a unique way to kind of piece through that and understand how you're getting some of those leads. So that would be my first challenge to you. Then, as we come down here and you think, all right, social media, all right, can I do a Facebook Live? Can I do a reel? Can I just post twice a week? I don't care what it is. Whatever it is, put it down. Let's get that goal written down. Let's make it simple in a way that you know it's something that you can nail and that we can build off of it and gain momentum. Print, if you go, God, we've never really had good success with print marketing before, we're going to kind of leave that one. I would rather you have 3 things that you really commit to doing well than have 8 or 9 of these things that you're going, we're going to try, but it might happen, it might not happen. Let's don't do that. Website. I was talking to a client about this the other day. Email campaign. He's like, you know what I used to do that I've just stopped doing it and people loved is, he's like, I've stopped doing an e-blast newsletter once a month. It's like, man, I would send pictures out of houses that we were building and I would answer one question every single time that anybody who was on our email list has probably asked about building a home at some point. And it just kind of made us the experts. People would read them. We'd have 60% of the people read them and it was just great. And if someone ever asked us that, it's like, you know what? We actually answered that in our monthly newsletter. Let me send you the monthly newsletter. It was a great way to get them exposure to clients and build credibility right there. So I don't know what it is. If it's you looking and going, man, once a quarter, I just need to bring it up and look at our website or look at our email list or whatever it ends up being and actually spend some time updating and managing that. Maybe you're looking and going, all right, our one pager or our marketing assets, once a month, I just need to build a new one. I need to go and hire a videographer to record some of our sites or come in and interview our team. Maybe it's you figure out, all right, the end of our client cycle, we need to find a better way to get Google reviews from people or get testimonials from people. Okay, build out that process. That's in your next 60 to 90 day window to think through that. So what I would love you to do real quick before we kind of close is put one thing in however many of these boxes that you want to commit to that in the next 90 days you give some attention to. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. I'm going to throw a quick song on, throw something in there. And then I want some of you people who have not talked yet to come and tell us what's 1 or 2 things that you're committing to real quick. All right. I want to make sure I'm protecting everybody's time real quick. Hey, who wants to come off mute? I saw Ed Jenkins threw in there Google reviews. Great. Build a process for how you're getting those. What's the trigger for that? When do you want them in the process? Do they go to everybody? Do they go to your best? Like, how do you do that? I love that. Set a meeting with yourself to start building out the Google reviews process. Who else? Who's got one for me?
I can share that. Sorry, I can't get my camera to work. I
That's okay.
apologize. But anyway, I signed a contract to start doing YouTube,
Great.
YouTube Professional, and also, I've read through the book and went through a lot of the books, the marketing strategy that it created, and defined all of that on paper. But I didn't take that, and it's kind of on paper now. I want to integrate that into my CRM. So all the step workflow into my CRM, so that way we can monitor and measure as we move forward. So
Awesome. Fantastic. That's really, really good. Thank you, Bill. Who else? Give me one more. Who's got one more for us? Got a bunch of shy people on here today. That's okay. All good. I hope that you came up with a couple ideas to go, you know what? This has not gotten the attention it needs. And so here's what I would tell you to do with this, right? Because there's kind of a jumping off point to go, all right, when are we going to do these things? I don't know if you're like me and you don't. I got 3 kids, 8, 6, and 4. I don't just have all this marginal time to dive in on things. I would imagine your job's pretty demanding as well. So what I love about this tool, you can see I built this thing in 2020 and I still use it all the time. I just come down here and change the dates on it. Would be that you'll notice that there are calendars down here for every single month. And so if you want to come in and go, all right, if I'm going to do a social media post, when am I going to do that social media post every week? So that then I can go back and put it in my schedule and remind myself, if whether it's an ideal weekly schedule that's time blocked like we like to coach, or whether you just need to put a reminder in your phone to go, you know what? Go take a picture of a job site. Go take a picture of an employee doing their job. Take a picture of a finished result of one of whatever you have, whatever you do, and go, I'm just going to post it. Because consistency and intentionality beat strategy every day of the week. Consistency and intentionality. Do it on purpose and trust that over the long run, remember we talked this gardening analogy, things are going to stop popping up. We don't need the perfect strategy. No, we just need consistency and intentionality. So what I would challenge you to do on the back end of this call, as I'm kind of wrapping some things up here, would be take these things down here, start throwing them on the calendar somewhere to where you can know, all right, here's when it fits in my schedule typically throughout the week, and I can start gaining some momentum on some of this. That way you're not left to just go, well, yeah, I'm going to get to it at some point. No, do you need a marketing meeting that once a month you look and you go, all right, we actually look at where the leads come from and measure the ROI on some of this and we track it all. We've got to start being a little bit more intentional with all of this. So I hope this tool, so many people have looked and they've gone, Thomas, this is not fancy. Nope, you're right. It's not. It's not meant to be fancy. It's meant to get everything out of your head on one sheet of paper to where you can see it and you can start putting the puzzle pieces together. Maybe you've identified some massive gaps to go, why don't we have more marketing assets? We have no testimonials. We have no videos. We have no print stuff. Okay, great. Maybe that's your one thing as you're leaving this to go, we need some more marketing assets that we can start moving the needle on. So one thing I would offer you guys today is I always like to have one thing that people can do if they want. In the chat window, I threw this down. This is something I'm going to offer to everybody on the chat or on the call today. If you would like me to sit and intentionally build this out with you and your team, like if you're sitting here and you're just stuck and you're like, Thomas, I don't know what to do, fine. Hop on, let's get some time together. Normally I charge $1,000 for this. We're going to give a one-time fee of $799 for this today, just to thank you for coming. I would love to allow you to just dream a little bit on some of this marketing stuff. Maybe you got stuck on the client avatar. Great, let's spend a ton of time on that. Maybe you got stuck on your channels and your assets. Great. We work with 130 businesses around the country. Chances are we have something in our kind of Rolodex of information that we could offer to you, repurpose some of it, install it in your business, and give you a fighting chance at putting some of this into practice. Maybe you just need help scheduling it, and we can work on the ideal weekly schedule and actually putting some marketing time into your calendar. So if you want to sign up for that, that is going to be incredible. I would love to get some time with you, hear more about your business, help figure out your marketing plan, your ideal client, all of the assets, and really help hold you accountable to some of that. So are there any questions before we roll out? Awesome. I think we hit it all today. So again, that link in the chat window, I would love to get some time with you, your marketing team, anybody who handles that, and it would be a privilege. So thank you all for coming. Be looking out for the next masterclass. I believe we are doing a summer financial tune-up. So if you're struggling with cash flow, if you're struggling with wondering where all that goes, the information on that will be coming out in the next week or so. So y'all have a great day. Hopefully some of y'all grab that link, and I'd love to get some time with you. Take care.